This is PC747, bringing you the latest in tech and entertainment talk. This has been an awesome week, period. Football's back, even though it's a preseason, but I'm glad to have it back. In tech, wow, we had some major bit of news, starting with the Pixel 3 XL leaks. Apple, not only we getting one iPhone, but it looks like we're getting 3, and we got a much closer look at what to expect. To kick everything off, let's start with the big news that came out of the Barclays Center yesterday. Samsung unpacked. So Samsung officially unveiled their Samsung Galaxy Note 9 phone. Now, let's be honest, a lot of the stuff techies already knew about because of all the leaks. But it's official now. And I'm actually impressed. So let's go ahead and start with the specs. 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display. One of the best, actually the best on the market right now. Samsung know how to do their displays. And, their blacks, their colors, everything just pop. When you watch something on their phone, it is an awesome view, and Samsung continues to do a good job with that. So glad to see that, you're gonna get an awesome display there. And to power that display, you're gonna need a big battery, because people now want their phones to last all day, and Samsung been listening. So they're gonna be including a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is awesome, because that means the thing's gonna last pretty much all day. And it's geared for gaming. With all these gaming phones out there taking advantage of their specs and stepping it up. Samsung, look, we're no slouch. We know how to do hardware. And they're ready. With the deal they just struck to have Fortnite be playable on their phone, they want to make sure they put out a phone that can handle that. And the Note 9 will do that because it will have water carbon cooling system that will make for performance awesome. We're not even done talking about a lot of the features they added on there. We're talking about the brand new S Pen, which people talked about before. That there were leaks about it having a Bluetooth radio in it, and now we know why, because it's pretty much going to be a remote, and you can utilize it to pause and play videos, music. You use a shutter button to take a selfie or a picture, as well as control slideshows. On top of that, DeX, which is the ability to turn their phone into pretty much a desktop operating system, can be accessed by plugging in the HDMI cord into your phone and to a display. And what I like about it, what was shown at the press conference yesterday, is the fact that you can utilize it as a computer system and still interact with your phone to send text, make phone calls, or watch a video. And that just shows how powerful of a phone that is, or this Note 9 is. And to power that, you're gonna have 2 variants. One is a 128 gigabyte model with 6 gigabytes of RAM, or the 512 gigabyte model with 8 gigabytes of RAM. We're talking about specs on a phone that is better than a lot of computers out there. And the one thing that Samsung do well is they listen to people years ago when we asked, can we keep an SD card there? Sure. And so not only will you have a phone with, again, 128 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of RAM, but with Samsung's new 512 gigabyte SD card, you have a phone that will have a terabyte of storage. Think about that for a minute. A phone with all day battery life, a terabyte of storage, the ability to be a computer system, the ability to play games. Man, you are looking at the ultimate package. An awesome camera, because cameras are something that Samsung continues to do well. So they're going to continue doing that. They're going to include a headphone jack, waterproofing going to stay. We're talking about, if there's ever been a phone that was the full and total package, you're looking at it in the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. So good job to Samsung for unveiling this. And it's going to come in 4 colors. Ocean blue with the yellow S Pen, lavender purple, metallic copper, and midnight black. Personally, I'm liking the ocean blue with the yellow S Pen. That was pretty much the phone, or the phone and S Pen that we've been seeing on a lot of Samsung's press kits that was going out, and that was leaked. Overall, Samsung really did a good job with this phone. Now, $1,000, people gonna ask, yeah, I'm not quite feeling that for a phone. It's getting to a point where it's getting out of control. And I'm not gonna argue with that. But I will say this, if any phone out there is worth $1,000, I would say it's this, because it checks all the box. Specs are there. Hardware is there. You know, as far as software, you're gonna get one of the best pay systems with Samsung Pay. A phone that is able to compete with these gaming phones out there. Something that I said that manufacturers needed to do. Well, you got that. And I guess all day battery life, quick charging, whether you use wireless charging or plugging it in, this is the full package phone. And yeah, the only knock I have is the fact that it's not going to be released with 9.0 or get updated to 9.0 soon. But I know the reality is that most people don't care about that. In fact, majority of Samsung users can't even tell you what software is on. They know it's running Android. And that's it. So overall, customers who want a great device, one of the best devices out there, you're going to get it. And I know it's almost too soon to tell right now, but I think we're looking at the phone of the year already. I mean, specs wise, I don't see any other phone really competing with this thing right here. But hey, you know, we still have ways to go and other phones to be unveiled. On to our next bit of news, the leaked Pixel 3 XL pictures and videos. Now, we've been seeing Pixel 3 XL leaks, it feels like, what, once a week now? But this latest leak, man, it's pretty much an unofficial unboxing. We literally seen everything with this phone. I mean, we got to see the packaging, what comes in the packaging, the phone being turned on. I mean, it is literally an unofficial unboxing. So, look, I don't know how a leak this big was able to survive that, but without, you know, Google nuking it or doing something to make sure it disappeared. But personally, I'm glad we got an opportunity to take an up-close look at it. So let's go ahead and talk about what we see here. So first off, what's standing out to me is once you open the box, this is the accessories that come with it. It looks like you're gonna get a free set of wired earbuds, and it looks a lot like the Pixel earbuds that Google was trying to sell last year. You know, the blue headphones that you will be able to, or that's supposed to be able to translate different languages on the fly. Oh, it'd be awesome if this does that as well. But even though the fact that you got a pair of free earbuds in the box is pretty good. And the phone in general, you know, the one that is being shown here is the all-white version, or what I like to call a frost white version. And I like the look of it. You know, it's grown on me. You know, and overall, yeah, this really looks like a beast of a device. As far as the notch, I know a lot of people complain about it, especially how deep the notch is going. But you know what? The notch design, I'm okay with that as well. You know, that was not or would not have been a thing to keep me from buying this phone. You know, it's a little bit more display there. And personally, the bottom chin there, I know people had a gripe with that. I was okay with that as well because, yeah, it made a way for Google to keep the front-facing speakers. So we continue to see the person go through the device and show more and more of it. And this one's currently running Google 9.0, which I'm running on my Pixel 2 XL right now. And it's, you know, it's pretty smooth, and I love it overall. But yeah, I got to talk about the one thing that looks like it's official and I have a problem with, and that's the RAM. 4 gigabytes of RAM on a phone, yeah, that's not gonna cut it for me. I'm sorry. With Samsung putting out a 6 gigabyte phone and 8 gigabyte phone, you got OnePlus doing it. Google cannot be releasing a phone right now with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a phone that they're looking to price close to these phones like the Note 9 and iPhone. That's not gonna cut it. I'm sorry. I don't care if your software optimized to the point that it can perform well on with 4 gigabytes of RAM, because we've already seen that that's not the case. With people coming out there and saying that they're noticing a little slowdown with their Pixel 2 XL. So for this phone, only difference between the Pixel 2 XL and the Pixel 3 XL to be the Snapdragon 845, and that's it. You added a notch. That's all you doing? Man, look, I'm not feeling that, and I think a lot of people are not going to as well, because it's like, for what you're going to charge me for this phone, I'll be better off just buying last year's Pixel 2 XL. And if you already have last year's Pixel 2 XL, just sit back and wait. So outside of the RAM, everything else look good. I like to look at the phone. I'm hoping they will continue with the Panda look, because that was a pretty nice look. But that RAM, I mean, to me, it's like, I really can't believe Google was willing to go ahead and put that out there like that. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping that, even though we saw a lot of the leaked photos showing 4 gigabytes of RAM, that maybe somehow Google will find a way to, in the last minute or, in an official model, up it up to at least 6 gigabytes of RAM. But seeing that's not the case, I'm actually going to have to say, as much as I love Pixel phones and Nexus phones, I'm going to be officially sitting out on this one. This is just not going to cut it for me. But for those out there who, the RAM is not bothering you, it's a good looking phone. And kudos to the person leaking this. I know leaks are not really great, but but I'm glad to, get hands-on, but up close look at what we expect to see this fall with the Pixel 3 XL. And this is expected to be released in October. The last bit of leaks we want to talk about is the new 2019 iPhones. And it looks like we're going to get 3 iPhones this year. One, which would like to be a refresh of the iPhone X. A larger version of it, which would be the size of the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, except you're going to get more display because it has a notch. And then you're going to have somewhere in the middle, which is actually going to be the cheaper model, because of the simple fact it's going to have an LCD display. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these real quick. Let's first go ahead and start with the cheaper model. That's actually, I think, is a good move on Apple's part. Even though when I say cheaper model, we're talking about price something close to around $600-700, maybe close to $800 there. But at least it gives someone who want to buy an iPhone, but at the same time is not quite want to spend $1,000 for it, it gives them a place to start. And then you go to the refresh of the iPhone X, which is a smart idea on their part. It was a very popular phone, and yeah, to go ahead and bring it back another year, up the specs a little bit, just kind of refresh it up, it's going to pretty much sell. And then for those who love large smartphones, you're going to have the larger version of it, which is going to be the size of the iPhone 8. Now, as far as price, we can expect the refreshed iPhone X to be around $1,000, which means that bigger one is going to be probably close to around $1,300. And like I said, the cheaper version will be around $700. For a lot of people, they're likely going to go ahead and stick with the cheaper model. With some people, you maybe going with the iPhone X refresh. But look, they're going to get 3D touch and all of the features that were displayed on last year's iPhone X on this year's iPhone. I'm thinking you'll also see an emoji out there and more to come. So that's pretty much what we have with the refreshed iPhones. So let's close out this topic with the $1,000 smartphones. And people, they're like, man, these prices of phones are getting out of control. In a way, I kind of agree with you. You know, I mean, it's like $1,000 for a phone. We kind of was feeling that way once it got up to $800-900, and now, not only would we at $1,000, but $1,000 is the starting price. You know, for a lot of these phones. We talking about the iPhone X refresh this year, looking to start at $1,000, with the iPhone X Plus looking to be around $1,200 or more. Your Note 9, the base model, it's $1,000, with the 512 gigabyte model, 8 gigabytes of RAM being over $1,000. And people are like, this is kind of get to a point where, yeah, they need to kind of back up a little bit. With a phone like the Note 9, with all that Samsung is putting in the phone, I mean, we talking about the best screen. If the battery life actually holds up all day battery life, we're talking about a phone that, as far as specs on paper, is more powerful than a lot of laptops and tablets out there that cost more than this phone. But I do understand people's complaints. And I kind of look at both sides of it here. And that's because I know lately, as of the past few years, people have gotten used to buying a phone once every year. So these $1,000 smartphones, if you think of it, needs to be a 2-year phone. And I think they are built to be 2-year phones. Now, as far as Apple, I think they do a better job software-wise, making sure that phone lasts 2 years to perform as expected. Samsung, they need to do a better job with that. Now, I know I said earlier during the Samsung discussion that, yeah, a lot of people don't care about software, but just because they don't, that don't mean Samsung needs to continue to shy on updating their phones on a timely manner. You know, considering if this phone is going to be a 2-year phone, it needs to get swift updates for 2 years. Do I expect it to be updated at the same time as the Pixel phones? No. I mean, I would like it to be, but I realize it's going to be more challenging to do so, for the simple fact that Google's Pixel is just pure Android, where Samsung has to take into account their own custom software that they put on top of it and how it performs with the new Google software. With that said, I don't think it takes a year to find that out. So, especially since now that Google put out beta software early so that people can test it out. And now, with these phones being priced at where they're at, I don't think it's too much to ask for Samsung to update phones like the Note 9 maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the Pixel 3 XL had their update. And to continue on updating their phones at similar time frames as the Pixel do, especially with security updates. This is something that I think should be expected for a phone that is going to be priced that high. So, yeah, I mean, I understand the complaint about these expensive devices. You know, it's going to mean that people are going to be smarter with it now. You know, protect it. You know, I know a lot of people like to, you know, rock their phone without cases, and you know, and it's going to force people to say, okay, this phone needs to last 2 years. And they're going to have to make sure to do that by taking care of it. And on the manufacturer part, they need to support it for 2 years so that people's investments actually feel like they're getting the most out of it. I don't think we're going to see the end of the $1,000 smartphone. In fact, personally, I hope we can cap it at that, because this continued rise of smartphones do have me concerned. Because $800 a couple years ago was the threshold, and now we have $900, $1,000. What's going to keep us from seeing $2,000 smartphones soon? I mean, we do see that overseas, but I'm talking about here in America, on a regular. Your note phones and your larger iPhones going for $2,000. And that's going to be something that, as consumers, we're going to have to need to stand up and say, hey, look, we need to cap the price somewhere. Because no matter what hardware you put in the phone, no matter what features you put in the phone, it shouldn't be getting to the point of $2,000. This is PC747. I'm out. This is PC747. Thank you again for watching. Leave your comments below. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel.